Today, I will be talking about the historical context and the key themes in The Crucible. So, first of all, it was written in the 1950s, and this was during McCarthyism. McCarthyism was the reaction to the possible threat of domestic communism, which was so extreme it caused far more damage than the threat itself. So, after World War II, two major powers emerged: the United States and the Soviet Union. The US was a capitalist democracy while the Soviet Union was an emerging communist power. This made the two ideologically opposite. There was extreme tension between the two superpowers, and this was known as the Cold War. In the US, American society was very hostile towards communist ideas and feared a communist takeover. This extreme fear of communism became known as the Red Scare, which is McCarthyism, named after Joseph McCarthy. He was a Republican senator who produced a series of investigations and hearings during the 1950s in the efforts of exposing supposed communist infiltration of various areas of the US government. In 1950, McCarthy gave a speech which captivated the American public, making him gain a large number of supporters. McCarthy made outrageous accusations based on evidence which he distorted or fabricated. He hurled allegations that well-known authors, such as Arthur Miller himself, politicians, and activists were actually communist sympathizers. This is known as red baiting, which consisted of hurling allegations of suspected communist involvement and forcing people to defend their innocence, even though they had not been proven guilty. McCarthy's reign of terror was finally brought to an end when he made the wrong decision of turning his attention to the US Army.
Have you no sense of decency, sir? At long last, have you left no sense of decency?
So, McCarthyism in relation to the Crucible. So, Miller based the Crucible on the Salem witch trials, and he associated the hysterical fear of communism in his own society with the paranoia of witchcraft during the Salem trials. Miller uses the Salem witch trials as an allegory, attacking McCarthy's unsubstantiated accusations on communism. Religion in the Crucible. Salem had been settled by religious refugees from England who wanted to build a pure Bible-based society. They followed a belief system known as Puritanism, a particularly strict form of Christianity that enforced strong morals and rejected self-indulgence and freedom, as worshippers entered a rigid relationship with God. The society in Salem was an isolated and theocratic one. Miller critiques theocracy by showing its dangerous consequences. He displays in the play what happens when political and religious power structures become entangled, which is the distortion of both religion and justice. Religion was also important in Miller's day. The US saw itself as a Christian nation in a Cold War with the USSR. The Communist Party of the Soviet Union was predominantly atheist, which added to the ideological opposition between the two nations. America's religious identity was used to fuel the fear of communism, just as religion was used to fuel the fear of witchcraft during the Salem witch trials. Key themes. So first we have the theme of mob mentality. So the chaotic nature of the mob causes its individual members to think as a unit. When Tituba's confession grabs Betty's attention, she joins Tituba in naming names. And also, when Mary continues her testimony, Abigail feigns innocence by playing an imaginary performance, claiming she is freezing, and the other girls join in, mimicking Mary's every word. And this causes group hysteria, which is something that is seen quite a lot in the play. And then we have the theme of justice. The power of justice is compounded because only a few authorities are charged with the power to execute it, and their word is law and cannot be challenged. Anyone who holds a different perspective than the government or church officials is suspected of heretical thinking and possibly siding with the devil. Paranoia and fear. Miller uses the Salem witch trials as an allegory for the mass fear and paranoia that comes with a corrupt justice system that prosecutes people without any solid evidence. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that was helpful.